Hey everyone, welcome to another video, and today we're talking about black garlic. Now if you remember, we've done a video on how to make black garlic with aluminum foil, how to make it without foil, and how to sous vide black garlic, but we don't recommend that method, and if you've watched the video then you'll know why. Today's method on how to make black garlic is what happens if you cook for 3 months. We've had a lot of people ask what happens if you continue the process, because generally black garlic can be made in about 2 weeks. And so we honestly didn't know the answer, so we thought let's give it a shot. So let's go to the equipment that you're going to need. You're going to need a rice cooker that locks. You're going to need some rocks or some sort of chopsticks or something like that. Basically, you just want to elevate your steamer plate about a ½ an inch off the ground. And that steamer plate has the lip just cut off from around it. So we're able to inset it all the way into the rice cooker basket. And what we're going to do is we're going to clean our heads real well. I've got about a pint of water, basically 2 cups of water in that little mason jar. And you can, as you can see right here, either put the rocks or the chopsticks. And now you're going to just gently arrange your garlic. You want to make sure there's no rotten pieces. Keep warm setting. Now notice my little 2, and that's just to help with the humidity in the process of this, what's going to be a really long cook. And so, guys, we love experimenting with food. And if there's an experiment you'd love us to try, there's a good chance we'll do it. And so once it's in the rice cooker, just make sure you keep it on the keep warm setting. And that keep warm setting is the on setting by default. You have to actually press it in order for it to start cooking. So just make sure you keep it on the keep warm setting. And this is about 1 week later. Now, so far, everything looks normal. This is a standard 1 week of the garlic cooking. It's relatively soft. It's going to start turning a little brown. And so if I open up one of these bulbs, you'll get the idea. It'll be kind of a brownish color, but not quite black. That's the sugars that are starting to really caramelize. And so far so good. Everything looks really standard. The water hasn't evaporated a whole lot, so I haven't had to refill that one bit. If you've watched my how to make black garlic without aluminum foil, the water evaporated pretty quick in that unit. And I think it's because we didn't have so much garlic. We only probably had about 10 bulbs. So this method has probably 30 to 40 bulbs in it. And now we are 1 month later. All right, so this is a total of 4 weeks into the cook. I haven't. The only time that I've opened it was 1 week into it, and so now we're 4 weeks into it. And notice that my water's got probably maybe about an inch left. The garlic is doing exactly what it should be doing, and I can tell right now that it is incredibly creamy. The humidity level is real high inside this rice cooker, and so necessarily a spongier, gummier garlic that we're used to when you cook black garlic for about 2 weeks. But I'd love to try it. And so here we go. 4 weeks of cooking garlic, and this is what it's going to look like if you do it this way. And here's the deal. So we all know, if you've tasted black garlic, you know what it's going to taste like. Notice how wet it is. Now, if your garlic does look like this, a very simple remedy is once it's done, just leave it on the counter for about a week, and it's going to dry up really nicely. It smells wonderful, and it actually has a nice soft sponginess to it, but I do feel that if I press too hard, I'll just destroy it. And so I don't want to press it too hard. But, ooh. Oh, wow, that's delicious. That's absolutely delicious. That is so much sweeter than 2 week cooked black garlic. I mean, that really has a whole complexity to it that's incredible. Wow. All right, so this is now 1 month later, and so we're now 2 months into this cooking process, and I can tell right off the bat that the garlic is definitely darker than what it was before. And so it's got a really nice glossy color to it, although it's very delicate. It's not nearly as humid. I didn't refill the water as much as I did originally, and so I wanted the garlic to dry out a tiny bit. And so I may have added maybe a ½ a cup of water within the last 4 weeks. And you could definitely tell that Something's going on. It's the sugars are really caramelizing. Let's look at what this looks like inside. That looks absolutely gorgeous. I mean, this thing is, there's going to be a point in which it reaches its maximum potential. And I'm thinking that 3 months may be too long, especially at this heat. Fermenting black garlic, 3 months is probably perfect because you're doing it like 80, 85, 89 degrees. All right, so now we are at 3 months. This is 90 days later. Oh, just by the way, at 2 months, when I tasted it, it was not as sweet as 1 month. It seemed like it was kind of moving a little more towards the savory side, even a little bitter. It was really strange. Check out how dark these are. They're not burnt. They're not crispy. They're just really black. The caramelization, I think, has gone a little too far. And so as I open them up, I get a real beefy smell from the black garlic, almost like a beef bouillon. And they're definitely firmer now. I haven't been adding a lot of water so that they could dry out in the rice cooker themselves. But they feel differently. They don't feel gummy. They almost feel like they're slightly too dry. I think that 3 months may be too long to cook. In this method, fermenting, I think, is slightly different. You know, it's a much lower temperature, but when you're cooking it at about 140 degrees for this amount of time, then I think we may be pushing the boundaries. But this is good. Now you know. Those of you who have asked what happens when you cook black garlic for 90 days, because traditionally it's fermented for like 2 or 3 months at about 85 degrees with a lot of humidity. And so I can definitely tell you that these don't look appetizing like they did at 1 month or even at 2 weeks. And they definitely don't taste the same. They still have a black garlic taste, but it's like they're stronger in the worst possible way. That whole concept of too much of a good thing is a bad thing. Well, apply that to this situation. Just it's strange. It's hard to even describe. It's got a dry, sort of overdeveloped flavor that doesn't have the right texture and is a little bitter, actually. And so anyway, if I had to do this experiment over again, I think I would personally prefer to do the 4-week cook. I like 2 weeks. It's quick. You can make a lot of it, and you could do it fairly easy in a rice cooker. But that extra 2 weeks really brings out a lot of that sweetness from the garlic through the caramelization. And I think it's just perfect. So anyway, give me your thoughts. If you're out there making black garlic like we are, we'd love to hear from you. Let me know your thoughts on this crazy experiment. If you haven't subscribed already, go ahead and subscribe now. Give this video a thumbs up, and we'll see you in the kitchen.